Right, if we can have the slides up. Great, G. Respectable guests, Dr. Suleri and the panelists, distinguished guests in the hall, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Haseeb, and I look after supply chain for PepsiCo Pakistan. And I would take a few moments just to share with you the challenges that we as an organization have been facing and the kind of solutions we have been able to implement. And I think that will be a good segue for the panel to further build on and then have that conversation going forward. I'll very briefly introduce who PepsiCo is. PepsiCo is one of the largest food and beverage organization in the world. And while it has multiple iconic billion-dollar brands, it is very, very important to know that it has been awarded as the most ethical company for the last 18 straight years. So there are a few things which are very, very important for us as a principle to understand what means when we operate in a certain geography and how do we want to take that geography with us in terms of all the impacts that we create beyond the consumer as well. Very quickly, if we move ahead, I'll just want to quickly share that within Pakistan, PepsiCo is one of the oldest food and beverage company when it comes to a large-sized international organization. We've been here for more than 6 decades now, and we have our 2 snacks plants. We have 16 beverage plants, and we also have 1 concentrate plant in our geography. Other than that, there have been multiple consumers that we serve every single day. And within that, there are a few brands which we can very proudly say are number 1 in terms of their size in Pakistan, 7-Up being one of them. Similarly, there's a lot of work that we have done on localization, and that is very, very important and key for us when it comes to localization. And roughly 80% of what we do, and when I say what we do, it's the entire value chain is localized. And when we talk about specifically food, there's a very close connection which PepsiCo has in agriculture space. Generally, it is known as a cola company, but there's a massive work that is done on agriculture side because we have our snacks or foods division, which has iconic brands like Lay's, Cheetos, Quaker, Kurkure, Wavy. And I'm very happy to share that all the raw material, primary raw material that is required for these brands is sourced 100% locally. All the potatoes for Lay's and all the corn required for our brands like Quaker, Kurkure and Cheetos is all locally sourced. And there's a huge amount of farmer community that we link with and we work with, and we want to build that space where we can thrive together. Coming very specifically to sustainability, roughly 5 years back, PepsiCo took a pledge where it is no more a routine function or a department or a few numbers that we want to present as an organization. It's a holistic roadmap where we think that we want to talk about sustainability across every single decision that we make every single day. It's not about only energy or water. It is about everything that we do, be it our consumers, be it our customers, or be it the communities where we exist. So broadly, we have covered it in 3 sections. We call it as PepsiCo Positive. It is positive for the planet and the people that we have with us. And within that, there are 3 main domains. One is called the positive agriculture, which I'll talk about in a bit of time. And then there is this positive value chain. Whatever happens between agriculture and the consumer, all of that is value chain. And then the last bit is positive choices, where we offer all the choices to our consumers, be it healthier options or be it sodium compliance products. And then once we started our journey, it was not very simple and easy for us to straight away jump and dwell into it. It took us quite a while to understand the problem, the impact that we create, measure where we stand today, and then started working on how do we want to proceed and how do we want to work ahead with it. Having said that, while we created that vision on how do we want to be seen as an organization, there were a lot of hurdles, and then we had to overcome those obstacles to enable to basically scale up where we stand today. And then now what we have learned over the period is that since it is such a large space, it is not one organization who can do it all. It has to be a collective effort. And then there is a lot of expertise that is required on a certain things, which will I talk about. But just to close this conversation here, I think it is very, very prudent to mention that there's a lot of partnership, there's a lot of collaboration or a collaborative spirit required to move ahead whenever we talk about any sustainable initiative in our homeland. We embarked on the journey by saying that whatever we do for Pakistan, as PepsiCo, it will be in, with, for Pakistan, which means anything and everything which is surrounded by us will be focused towards our own homeland. And we have been able to partner with quite a few people, that organizations that you see at the bottom of the chart. But with that, there are a few key initiatives which I think have been very humongous for us, and we really think that there was a great impact that was created with by doing that. Starting with Million of Meals, we have been supporting a lot of communities where they were either struck by different disasters that unfortunately our country goes through. But having said that, it is not just that meal that we serve. We run one of the largest internship programs in the country, where more than 15,000 students go through it, and it's called Roshan Kal. And similarly, we've been out in the fields working with kids to bring them to school, bring them into regular educational environment where they are out of school right now. And then we also have now roughly 7 odd daycare centers, not on our own facilities, rather in the farms, where we know that more than 70% female farm workforce comes to the farms, and then there is no right ecosystem for those females. So considering that, we have actually invested in that, and we have built that ecosystem where separate washrooms are created for females, daycares are built for their kids, and then access to clean drinking water are some of the few things that we were able to do. But then I think at the heart of agriculture lies regenerative agriculture. Now, it's a very, very broad and wide term whenever we say regenerative agriculture, but it is the way we have defined it as PepsiCo is that we want to split it into water, soil, biodiversity, and then GHG emission and carbon sequestration. These are the 4 pillars, what it means to me or PepsiCo when we talk about regenerative agriculture. There can be multiple definitions, it's a very, very broad subject, but that is where we are focusing right now on these key 4 pillars. Talking about water, I think water scarcity is one subject which I don't think this particular audience needs any education on. We all know what we have been going through. From water stress to water scarce is where we are heading. Our main cities, even within this city, wherever we are right now, we faced a massive water crisis within this year and last year as well. And with that, it is very important to know that roughly 70% of freshwater consumption is in agriculture sector. Now, how do we work on that? How do we reduce that in order to ensure that our water tables remain where they are and we are able to improve and leave some water for the generations to come. And there's quite a lot of work that we've been able to do, but I think one of the biggest challenges that we have faced in water conservation is how do we bring in that technology, how do we bring that capability in the country, and how do we localize it? Because right now, any high efficiency irrigation system is all 100% import based, be it components, be it the technology itself. Very quickly coming to soil health, I think the panel will definitely talk about this subject, but I think one of the biggest emergencies, in my opinion, in Pakistan should be on soil health. As they say, what gets measured gets done. Unfortunately, we are not measuring the quality of our soil. What soil health do we have right now, where we were? What was the soil organic matter 10 years back? The intensive crop cropping pattern that we are following, unfortunately, has literally drained the soil that we have, and we're not giving anything back to the soil. We're just taking the energy out of it. And it's very, very important that we measure it and know what is available in the form of key components, and then what should the next crop be given as an input. Right now, it is just 1 or 2 key ingredients that we keep on putting in, and we have made our soils alkaline to a level where it is now getting difficult to get any yield or any better yield in any particular crop that we talk about across the board. So a few things that we were able to do is that we were able to add some compost. I know the compost is a very, very difficult subject and difficult thing to crack at a large scale. But I think there's some things that we were able to do, and that has really made a lot of difference and has helped us a lot. Similarly, when it comes to biochar, we were able to make that biochar. सर कैसे हैं Right. Similarly, we are partnering with one of the biggest academia in the country, where we are producing biochar and we are adding it back to the soil just to make sure that the nutrients of that soil are at least built back. So giving back to the soil is very, very important. Biodiversity is another very, very big subject. Again, we can talk about hours on that particular subject. But I think the impact that we are creating on biodiversity, wherever we are farming now, or whatever new lands that we are preparing to farm, there's a lot of impact that we are creating by literally eliminating the ecosystem which used to be there before we were farming those areas. So at least bringing some of it back will help. I think we have found a very tremendous partner in Pakistan. We have CABI in Pakistan who are the experts on this particular subject, and we've been able to implement a lot of initiatives that they have actually deployed in the field and actually got rid of, let's say, pest versus insects. So pest is anything which is harmful to the crop, and insect is something which can be favorable to the crop. So how can the ecosystem still remain, and how can we build that and improve that? So some of the things over there. And then finally, I think GHG is one of the key things which is impacting climate change, is one thing which our country does not need any introduction to. We are actually living the climate change. And within that, what we've been able to do is that we've been able to provide solar panels to our farmers. So a lot of water tube wells are now based on solar. So roughly 60% of the area that we farm is on solar production. And then we're also promoting drone sprays because there's a lot of efficiency that they bring in. There's a lot of water conservation that a drone spray brings in. And at the same time, the efficacy of that spray is extremely high versus the traditional way of spraying anything as a foliar application to the crop. And then few other initiatives which are beyond these hardcore agriculture typical initiatives is going beyond that, talking to the communities. So we went up north in a small valley beyond Hunza. It's called Gulmit. And we were able to interact with female farmers over there, and we were able to bring some difference in their lives. Similarly, IRM Smart School is another initiative where out-of-school children are brought to school and we are working with them. And then finally, there's a lot of farmer capability work that we invest in so that it's a win-win situation for both of us, because capability building, I think, is one of the biggest challenges that we have. And then very quickly, I'll talk about whatever we have learned so far. We tried to put in one particular location. We chose a community outside Multan. It is called Chak RS. And we tried to deploy all those things that we had learned so far in one community where they were actually facing all those problems. So access to clean drinking water was an issue over there. There was no sewage system. Access to washroom was an issue. Female girls or girls college or girls' school would not have attendance just because of few basic facilities not being available in that area. And then the health of that particular community, more than 80% of the people were infected with one disease or the other. And then with very small interventions in that area, we were able to focus on and implement at least 9 different SDGs, where there's a very massive impact to the community. We've spent more than 2 years with that community now, and there's an independent assessment being done, and we were collaborating with SDPI on this. And we have now made a policy out of it, that how can we work in those smaller communities, make that impact? How can public and private sector partner together to expand these kind of communities and make more Misali Bastis in Pakistan? Similarly, some of our work on energy in order to support climate change. So we are working at our own facilities. More than 6 megawatt of solar is installed, just to make sure that we reduce our carbon emission footprint. And at the same time, we are also running biomasses at our plants so that our carbon neutrality also reduces. And one last thing that I would definitely want to talk about is all those who were here in the morning also got to know that we were the first company who were able to provide the first recycled plastic bottle to Pakistan. So it was one of our initiatives where we wanted to create that. And now I'm very happy to share that more than 40% of what we do as plastic is all recycled plastic. Finally, wrapping it up, I think there are a few opportunities where we can work around and unlock the future for our country. And I think the panel would definitely talk about these things. How can we work on agriculture? How can we improve? What are the hurdles and how can we expand it? Similarly, water and climate are two big areas where this country really needs to work together to come to a space where we are able to bring in circularity and actually deliver value. And then finally, plastics. I think one of the biggest opportunity areas for all of us, how can we bring it in a circular economy to ensure that we actually live the Pakistan dream. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Asif, for highlighting about the positive choices that your company is making in context of agriculture, water, and plastics. Now, I would like to request Dr. Abid Suleri to formally welcome the Federal Minister for National Food Security. Sir, over to you for the welcome remarks.
Distinguished guests at the podium, Honorable Rana Tanveer Hussain Saab, Federal Minister for Food Security, National Food Security and Research, distinguished delegates for this 4 days Sustainable Development Conference, in which we are also convening UNESCAP's SDG Forum, we are convening IGES Circular Economy Forum, and we are convening South Asia Economic Summit. It's indeed a pleasure to host Rana Saab in this closing plenary of the first day, where we are discussing this food supply chains and plastic. And the topic, as it seems quite wide and quite disconnected, it is quite connected with our main conference theme, which is sustainable development in the emerging world disorder. Now take food security in the world disorder. And food security in the world disorder means feeding the humanity while there is geopolitical tension is rise, while climate change and floods and droughts, they are affecting the crops and animals, livestock, while inflation and cost of living is affecting all of us. And within this, how to think of food security. Now, why this plenary with the PepsiCo? We, as I said in the morning, that we have been for long accusing private sector as part of problem. Our stand by, buyer who should remain outside from the policy tables and just keep on watching and waiting. But this is, in fact, a moment where we have to include private sector in our negotiation and in our policies and keep on talking with them. One of the very important and positive impact that we have seen is oil and gas companies turning into energy companies. Now, they don't call themselves as oil and gas companies. They're calling themselves as energy company. Another important point here is this change of logo in Pepsi. We always used to see this Pepsi logo, but now this Pep positive, which means that Pepsi is recycling the plastic and trying to be a environment-friendly company. This is, I think, proof that when you engage private sector in constructive discussion, then not only take critique as direction for way forward, but they also address the issues and try to address the issues. And this is, I think, quite positive. On plastic, I would also like to say that there is a direct linkage of plastic disposal in our agriculture farms. This pesticides and herbicide packing, if you visit the areas where these sprays are done, disposing of that plastic in a manner which is not environment friendly, it is actually polluting and contaminating our groundwater as well as the crops and creating all sort of environmental hazards. So while we talk of sustainable food supply chains, and sustainability means from sowing till fork, till consumer consume it, we need to take care of all of these aspects which are important to define how we make our path for way forward in this disorderly world. I once again thank you, our chief guest, for joining us today, and we will be looking forward to get direction and the word of wisdom from him. So, sir, we have international guests in the audience and, of course, the local audience. And my colleague Zainab, while she will introduce you to the podium, she'll also be highlighting from how many countries the delegates have come today. Over to you, Zainab.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abid. Yes, so we are also hosting the South Asia Economic Summit, the 16th summit. We have delegates who have joined us from different South Asian countries. Even not just that, we have delegates who have joined us from other countries in the region, including Japan. We have IGS, we have UNEP ITC, we have the speakers from Japan. UNEP ITC is sitting in the panel with us, and then we have Mr. Ranga from UNEP, from Switch Asia EU, and then we have also other participants who have joined us. Rather, they will be joining us for tomorrow's sessions as well, from US, from European Union, different diplomats. So I think it's a galaxy of experts. It's a galaxy of experts, not just from Pakistan who are here with us, but also from around the region who are now showing a commitment that they want to work with us to drive this agenda around sustainability, circularity, and economic growth, which is inclusive of the climate action and the overall, what could be Agenda 2030 and beyond. So that's a debate for tomorrow. Now I would like to invite our chief guest, Dr. Rana Tanveer Hussain Sahab, who is the Federal Minister for Food Security, Ministry of National Food Security and Research, for his remarks. And after that, we'll move towards the key discussion with our speakers in the panel. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dr. Sulari Saab, distinguished participants, thank you very much for inviting me for this addressing for the this important gathering. And of course, it's a great pleasure to join you today for this plenary and unlocking circular opportunities in plastic and agri-food system. The topic is timely and important, as both plastic and food system are central to our development and an environmental future. Both sectors face challenges of waste, pollution, and inefficiency, yet they also offer immense potential for innovation and green growth through circular economy principles. In Pakistan, the government is committed to moving toward a circular economy that minimizes waste, reuses resources, and encourages sustainable production and consumption. Efforts are already underway to promote eco-friendly packaging, support recycling and waste management systems, and reduce the use of single-use plastics, ban on single-use plastic regulation 2021. These actions align with our broader commitment to climate resilience, resource efficiency, and sustainable industrial growth. In the agri-food sector, circularity can transform how we produce, process, and consume food. It can help reduce post-harvest losses, make better use of byproducts, and minimize packaging waste. This is where our agriculture innovation and growth plan plays a vital role. The AIGP promotes innovation, technology adoption, and sustainability across the entire agriculture value chain. We are introducing climate smart and resource efficient technology, improving post-harvest handling and encouraging value addition areas where sustainable and biodegradable packaging can replace plastics. The plan also supports the development of agri-based industries that can adopt circular practices, such as recycling agriculture residues into bio-based materials, compost, or renewable energy. By promoting innovation and responsible production, we will contribute to reducing waste and plastic dependency within the agri-food system. Ladies and gentlemen, the circular opportunities in plastics and agri-food systems are not just about managing waste. They are about creating a new model of growth where sustainability and prosperity go hand in hand. I commend SDPI for bringing together experts, policymakers, and development partners to share knowledge and build partnership on this vital issue. Together, through innovation and collaboration, we can unlock the potential of circular systems and build a greener, and more resilient Pakistan. And Dr. Slary, as you mentioned, that we usually abuses or say the private sector is the source of problem. I tell you, we value the private sector, and this government is committed with this concept that we carry along with us the private sector, and we usually consult them and discuss all issues relating to their sectors, relevant sector, to solve the issues facing with that sector. And I myself interact with many times, frequently with the private sector, and we value their recommendations and try to incorporate in our procedure system and in policies. And as far as the quality and food safety is concerned, our department relating to this issue, dealing with this matter, DPP, Department of Plant Protection, we revamped them under the direction of Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif. And we established in place of DPP, we established authority. And authority is totally autonomous. And we put all experts and relevant professional people in that authority. And I hope this will improve our safety standard, and we will enhance our export, and also we will ensure biosafety about the imports, food imports from other countries. So this government is totally committed with this motive, and we targeted all these reforms, and inshallah in future you will see within 1 year the result of all these reforms. And we are trying to bring the structural change in the system. And we will bring growth not in agriculture products, but we will make a sustainable model for agriculture growth, and we will not to fulfill our requirement of our local population, but we will export the surplus in agriculture sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for highlighting the role that the government of Pakistan is playing in this context, and for assuring that the government is willing to take on board the private sector. And thank you for showing us this resolve, and also the promoting the partnerships. I think the establishment of this kind of committee where independent experts are being engaged is an extremely important step. With this, we now move towards key questions from two experts who are from different parts of the world and who work around this agenda. So I'll start with Mr. Ranga Palavala, the European Union Switch Asia, sir. Because in an agriculture-dependent economy such as Pakistan, and how essential is it to embed sustainable consumption and production, the SCP principles from inputs to packaging? And what Switch Asia models could guide Pakistan? Because if a private sector company is engaging in an agriculture sector and getting converted to an agri company, what are your recommendations for them? Over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Sainab, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think let's unpack the entire thing. It's about agriculture and the sustainable consumption and production. And ultimately matters is about the resource efficiency. That's what we call about sustainable consumption and production. And the SCP, of course, we know it's a kind of the basis for the triple planetary crisis, the climate change, biodiversity loss, as well as pollution. These are interconnected. And of course, we have been discussing all the spin-off issues of this triple planetary crisis and the aggregate. So if you take the agriculture, the value chain, both upstream and downstream, it's very special because it's a long value chain. It's a complex value chain, and there are different number of heterogeneous actors within the value chain. So what we see, if we don't apply sustainable consumption and production aspects within this value chain, that means there's a huge amount of resource leakage. Resource leakage, of course, it's goes down, and if we go to the bottom line, there will be economic negative implication, environment as well as social. So as an agri-dependent country, the Pakistan and most of the developing countries in the region and beyond, it's important to embed these principles, both upstream and downstream. The agriculture is not just the farming. That's why I'm talking about the value chain. And there's one myth saying that if you take the entire value chain, most of the impacts and most of the effects are lying outside the national jurisdictions, that some other countries, because there's importation of inputs as well as outputs. But actually, if you look at the agri-dependent country, the large number of actors as well as large number of segments within this agri-value chain lies within the country. So if you apply resource efficiency aspects within the value chain, that means most of the benefits will be reaped by the country. So it's economic, social, as well as ecological. So how to do that? Of course, as mentioned correctly, it's a kind of a holistic approach. It's not just one single approach, but so the system thinking is important. What we have seen is, if you look at the value chain, individual actors need to think as different ways, but the private sector engagement is quite significant, I would say, because they play the major role. They engage in the production, manufacturing, processing, as well as consumption as well. So the government actors and the public sector mainly engage in setting the policies and the overarching, the regulatory guidelines to it. So since the private sector playing a bigger role, of course, looking from the market aspect is quite crucial. So what we always advocate as Switch Asia is looking at the market perspective. Higher the resource efficiency, higher the savings you have, and higher the viability and the profit margin. And at the same time, higher the resource efficiency, the resilience of the value chain is quite high.
So you believe that agri sector has the potential for circularity, right?
Definitely, like in all the other sectors. Most of the time they think it's about the industry. No, agriculture, as I mentioned, it's a complex, long value chain with larger number of factors. So it's let's say, take a simple aspect of water.
Mm-hmm.
Water efficiency and traditionally our part of the world, I'm talking from the South Asian perspective, water has been not coming only as a input to agriculture, but also since abundance of water, we have been using water for certain other aspects like weed control, etc.
Right.
But look at now, we don't have that, luxury of having abundance of water.
And the paddy fields, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think the circularity principles can be applied to any value chain and agriculture specifically.
Thank you. Thank you for your valuable input, Ranga. And indeed, we have to see the principle of sustainable consumption and production. And practically speaking, it is not really tough. If we take a sector-wise approach within the agriculture sector, it's a possibility, especially if the government and the private sector collaborate. Even they pick up a single sector. Let's just say they pick up wheat or rice, or let's just say they pick up any other crop and they go for it. I think it can be a pilot that can be scaled up for other cropping patterns as well. So thank you for your valuable input. Dr. Shinichi Honda from UNEP. Now, because agriculture sector in Pakistan, interestingly, I know this is a surprise for all of you as well. It is a source of plastic pollution in Pakistan, major source of plastic pollution. Your PET bottles are not the first source. It is the agri sector. So Dr. Honda, because there are mulch films to fertilizer bags. Now, from UNEP's experience, what technical or regulatory measures have helped countries make agriculture sector plastics free? Because if we have plastics in the agri value chain, it means we are consuming it directly. So it is inside us, coming directly from the source. Yes, please.
Thank you, Diana, for the questions. But first, I'd like to say thank you to everyone to invite UNEP to join this summit. So we are very happy to join this event. Also, my colleague from Paris, Jahija, couldn't come. But at least I am here to participate in this summit to run the latest discussion on the environment issue in Pakistan in particular. Thank you so much. So for your question, I think it's difficult to respond because ironically speaking, we need to pollute, unfortunately, our environment to obtain natural-based agricultural resources. And our activity for the agricultural resources is one of the origin of the environmental pollutions in our history. Then after, for example, 10,000 years, we worked with the nature, we finally became aware of the pollution that we didn't consider about plastic for the packaging, which may contribute negatively to the pollution. We only see the positive issue that for example, plastic including or plastic capsule including the fertilizer would contribute to the agriculture business sector because it was advancedly designed when agriculture in capsule would be released to the, for example, paddy field after a few months. But we didn't really consider about what would be happened with the plastics packaging, including PET bottles so far. So then it was quite tough. But also we had similar opinions what His Excellency Mr. Rana said. Because of the plastic packaging, we can safely drink fresh water where we can't access infrastructure for drinking waters. So as a UNEP level, so we work with the 193 member states, but of 193 member states, only about 20 member states would be able to provide fresh water in the infrastructure system. So other 80% of the countries do not have such system. So those are quite a difficult issue between how we still continue getting immediate benefit by using plastics for agricultural business sectors, and how we should shift by using pollutants to non-pollutants. That means plastics to, for example, biodegradable products for the plastic capsule for the fertilizers. But please don't get wrong me. What wrong is us? That we didn't consider really about the aftermath of we use the plastics. But for agriculture business sectors, I think there are 2 points. One is that the small piece of the plastic, such as capsules, cannot be collected anymore. It is impossible. In that case, we need to redesign such system, or we need to absolutely use biodegradable capsules because we can't collect such products. The second point is the other retailing products, such as PET bottles, and the PepsiCo does great job here in Pakistan to try to produce like a recycling system here. But the point is that if after we use the plastic bottles, we have to correctly segregate from other waste, correctly through the recycling bin for recyclings. But we still face some challenges because we are supporting the member states to have a new convention on the plastics, but they couldn't finish that negotiation because it was difficult convention text among the member states. But absolutely we need international agreement to combat plastic pollution, not only in agriculture business sectors, but also in our daily life. That's my quick response.
Thank you so much, Dr. Honda. And yes, banning plastics without providing alternatives, and those alternatives have to be cost-efficient alternatives, bans do not work, and that is also a challenge. And you see, this challenge is not just for Pakistan. Even at international level, if you see at INC 5, as Dr. Honda was mentioning, the legally binding document, no consensus could be made. Why? Because there are high-end consumption countries, and then there are countries who are managing the waste without getting any incentive for it. So it's a matter of equity and justice as well at the global forum. Now, Mr. Zawar Kazmi, you are the Senior Manager, Agriculture, Farming and Storage Operations at PepsiCo Pakistan. So for a major agri-based company, what are the biggest operational and policy challenges in advancing agri-sector sustainability? And how do you think, as government is sitting with you, the government and corporates co-create a level playing field that rewards circular practices? Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Zainab. Good afternoon, everyone. So, from the experience that we have with the growers, if we want to create a right sustainable agro framework for Pakistan, the grower, we need to work on two dimensions. One is we need to either improve the yield of the grower, or we have to reduce the cost of production of the grower so that we can ensure a sustainable agriculture in Pakistan, which is the backbone of the country. So regarding your specific question, I would like to frame the problem statement in three dimensions. Two, which are the natural part, and one which requires the transformation in the country. When I talk about the natural part, in our agro supply chain, our value chain, we have the soil and we have the water. Both are natural resources. Unfortunately, in Pakistan, over the period of time, the extensive cropping has caused a significant reduction of organic matter in the soil. Currently, our soils are having less than 1%. Even in some of the part of country, we have 0.5% organic matter, which is not only impacting the yields, but also significantly causing different disease outbreaks in the soil for different crops. Second problem is related to water, as discussed by some of the panelists as well. As a country, we are either water stressed or we are water scarce. And the time is not far when we have to make a big transformation on that. Now, if I look at the problem part, currently, although the government is giving a good subsidy on the irrigation systems, but all the irrigation systems which are high efficiency are import based. There is no local irrigation systems available in Pakistan which are high in cost. Second problem is the expertise on the irrigation system. Our growers, they are used to adopt an irrigation which is flood. They used to adopt it from the generations. So transformation from that flood irrigation to the high efficiency irrigation needs a big technical support on ground for the growers, which we need to create and unlock to create a big success. Last, the third part of the problem is the mechanization. If I talk about specific to PepsiCo, where we source potato from the growers, 6-7 years back, we used to start our crop sowing in Pakistan from mid of September. And we used to harvest the crop till mid of April. Now the temperatures have changed in last 6 years. Current year, we got the right temperature after the first week of October. So around 3 to 4 week stretch on the sowing part. Similarly, if we take the harvest part, the temperatures normally start to increase beyond 30 degrees centigrade from March onward. So we have to pull back the harvest part. On one side, where we have to work on the right varieties in each and every crop, we also need to put the right investment on and right design of the mechanization, which can help the growers to have the fast and quick sowing, fast and quick harvesting, and manage the crop with the right efficiency. By solving these problems, I think it will be a situation where we can create the right efficiency in our agriculture for the grower, and we can transform our Pakistan agriculture to the right direction to basically meet the challenges which are not far from the today.
Thank you so much. So now I'm mindful of the time, and also just shifting a bit away from the agenda. I like to do that, the questions, because he has shared the key challenges. And I would like the other speakers to reflect, because Ranga, you talked about, what are the issues, how SAP can integrate. Now, you have heard the company's challenges. What do you think could be a way forward? Or your key recommendations for this company and for so many companies that want to work in this sector. We do not have indigenization, and then there is a challenge of climate change. You see the sowing seasons and even the patterns are shifting, and there is, because of lack of fiscal resources, we are unable to shift it. So how do you see this now?
I think that the whole crust of the issue of triple planetary crisis, isn't it? Climate change is just one. Yes, we have challenges, but I think one of the key things that he mentioned is, thank you very much for highlighting, is that we need to move away from the business as usual practices and the systems. I think one of the core issues we have is the reluctance or not being convinced enough to move away from the business as usual practices and patterns. Some some people use the word conventional or traditional, but I would say business as usual patterns. So it's not only the farmers or the farming communities, but across the value chain. So that's where we need to have a systemic thinking and the systemic shifting away from the system. So one of the important thing for the private sector can do, I think there's a business opportunity as well, is about how to bring right products and services to de-risk, to adopt new and innovative approaches. I think the small scale actors in the entire value chain won't move if they see any risks. But I think large scale actors and the private sector can do is that how to de-risk it. I saw that you are working across the value chain on different approaches. And of course, those approaches and demonstrating those will de-risk certain things, but engaging some of the actors with giving some confidence that this new approaches is giving benefits, not only financially, but also in terms of the overall resilience of the systems, that'll do. But I'm again thinking it need to be leveraged with some sort of an incentives, including financial support and the investments too. So I'll also little derail my intervention and said I'm coming from EU Switch Asia, and we are one of the longest standing programs of the European Union and building upon the flagship initiative of European Union called European Union Green Deal. And we work, we have two main operating arms. One is we provide grants for actors, grant financing, the concessional finance where it need to go. And also we have what you call the the policy support component, supporting governments to come up with the relevant policies and policy instruments. And I derailed because our newest grant call has been announced. So if you are interested to work on circular economy, sustainable consumption and production aspects in that area, the countries across Asia and not Asia and the Pacific, actually Asia, it's South Asia and Southeast Asian countries, developing countries. If you are interested, please access the website of EU Switch Asia or the European Union. You might get the details of it. And so it's an opportunity to leverage some of the initiatives where concessional finance is required for leveraging. But I would say this concessional finance, I'm again saying it's to leverage more scale up finances and investments to it. And as I mentioned, if you want to move away from the business as usual patterns or just make a clear dent of our pathway, investments are quite important, and the private sector investments are quite crucial. While we are de-risking the investments of the large-scale private sector, the private sector themselves also have a responsibility to bring small-scale actors also into non-conventional, or I would say new approaches, innovative approaches to shift the entire system adapting to the new situations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Dr. Honda, briefly, if you can also reflect on the challenges that they have mentioned. How do you see the transition then? I do realize you mentioned that for member states, it's extremely challenging. But as Ranga said, there's also an opportunity. So how do you see this? Your reflections, please.
Yeah, thank you. It is challenging still, even though we may be able to see some opportunities. But we always try to explain them that unfortunately, we have been ignore what would be happened after economy activities. I mean, the current economy activities, because we didn't include any cost to the economy. So we forget about externality so far. But cost is important, but result of our effort to, for example, shift from linear economy to circular economy is more important for coming business sectors. So without such approach, so any business can no longer survive in coming years. So then we explain that you should indicate how your company or product to be able to contribute to the consumers to consider about their lifestyle without any compromise to the environment. But having said that, we are not worried about for the big company actually, because they get economic benefit. We are worried about other side of the coins, like downstream management side, in particular small and medium enterprises, which always face difficulty to get benefit, including informal sectors we did discuss today. So that would be still challenging, but we will continue supporting small medium enterprises at downstream management to promote recycling of plastics and to contribute to our activity on SDGs.
Thank you so much. Zawar, I think the question that I wanted to ask you was around collaborations, but I think both the partners have highlighted it. Just taking the opportunity, I know you will be concluding it, but because we have Rana Saab with us, Rana Saab, I'm just taking this opportunity. You're sitting here with us. You have heard the panelists. You have heard the challenges of private sector company as well. What are your reflections? Just concluding the session. Over to you, please.
Thank you very much. I heard the different points for this collaboration and challenges we are facing and value add chain. The government is working on this, and we are introducing all reforms to enhance the growth of an agriculture sector, access to finance for common farmer and mechanization, and of course certified seeds, and we are focusing on inputs, on those inputs which are not affecting our climate change or pollution. And all these reforms or measures we are taking, and hopefully within 1 or 2 years you will see our agriculture sector will become resilient to climate change. And we are also introducing the policies for value addition. We are asking go for value addition, so we can utilize our resources more meaningfully. So government is conscious. Government is focusing on more focusing on agriculture sector, because agriculture sector is the backbone of our economy. And we think the dividend from agriculture sector we can get within a short time, within 6 months, within 1 year. So all points they mentioned, we are working on all these points.
Thank you so much. That's indeed a ray of hope, and we are sure that with this kind of enthusiasm that is coming out from the government side, especially from you, sir, is indeed going to be very helpful. And we all are hopeful that the agri sector will revive.
I must mention here that we are strengthening or introducing the services which can give the awareness to our farmer about the inputs, about the weather, about their use of fertilizers and transport technology and many other things. And through we are strengthening our extension services in provinces, and at federal level we are introducing technology for this purpose. Like there is one organization called LIMS, and LIMS is working on this, and other we are also establishing a service center in ministry who will 24 hours give the information to farmers about all their problems and issues.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Zawar, please formally conclude the session. Thank you for your remarks, sir.
So if I just reflect on all these discussions, the speed of a change of climate and the challenges is more versus what the actual is happening in agriculture. a great stuff that we have just heard from different institutes, including the government, the great stuff they are doing on the extension part, technology part. I think now the more important is to bring a strong synergy between the public-private sector and the development sector, so that we can bring the change on ground with the same speed the change is happening in the climate. And very soon we can actually unlock the potential of our real agriculture in Pakistan. The status quo approach, where the grower believes that for wheat, I need to put 2 bags of urea and 1 bag of DAP, a right technical approach to assess the soil, decide the right fertilizer, and from a long-term angle, increase the organic matter, reduce the fertilizer in the long-term perspective, adopt the technology and mechanization which bring the right efficiency in the agriculture. So through collaborative effort, I think it will not be difficult to achieve this big transformation in agriculture in Pakistan.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our distinguished panelists and the chief guest for highlighting the key challenges, opportunities, and way forward. I think with this, we are taking up a positive message that public-private partnerships have a potential to be scaled up, especially in the agri sector, in the water sector, in the plastic sector. And there is a will, not just from the public sector, but also from the private sector. They want to work. They want to work to achieve the agenda that the government of Pakistan is setting up. So, and I'm also grateful to all the participants for your patience, for listening. May I please request the panelist and the chief guest to join us here for the group photo. If you can please join us here. Thank you, everyone. Please let us know with a big round of applause if you think this is possible. Thank you.